What's going on, guys? Rick here. Today I want to bring you a BFA casual review for the expansion for World of Warcraft. So let's go ahead and get this started. This is a review for casuals, people that only have 30 minutes, maybe an hour to play a night, and maybe sometimes more on the weekends. And that's what I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into the story and questing. I was actually really surprised. The story and the questing in this game are really good. Blizzard has this way of throwing in all these little funny, little hilarious, little meme things all over during questing. 1 through 3, 1 being my favorite zone. Tierguard Sound was absolutely my favorite zone. It was just this different thing. It was fresh. It was fun. And I really enjoyed the atmosphere. Next would be Drustvar, definitely. It's got this creepy, like, dark vibe. It's just got this really great vibe to it, and it's got a good story. There's some funky stuff in there, but for the most part, really good zone. That's why I put it at number 2. And then, of course, Stormsong Valley comes in at number 3. I was actually not a big fan of this zone. It just was not that fun for me. The quests were kind of just... they were laid out nice, and that's one of the things they do well in this expansion is they lay out the quests really nice. But something about Stormsong Valley I just didn't like. Something I couldn't put my finger on it. I just did not like it that much. Sound and music. The music in this expansion is absolutely amazing. Just like in previous expansions, check out the score played here on this flight path. Depending on like what zone you're in, if you're in Tierguard Sound, the music is just right on. I mean, it's really well done. Again, just like the other expansions. The sounds are good, but you find that Blizzard just reuses a lot of the old sounds over and over again, and it fits, it's good, so not too many complaints on that. Alright, let's move on to gameplay and feel. As far as the game feel, personally I played the Rogue this expansion, which is kind of unlike for me. For the last 5 expansions I played a healer and a tank, so for me it was a little weird to just play something new. The combat felt really good. The melee combat felt really smooth. It was nice. There was a good pace to it. There was a good pace to fighting the mobs and a good pace to the questing as well. So kind of like all of those things meshed together. The combat felt meaningful and impactful. Like it really felt like you were actually doing something. It was really nice. Coupled with the fact that it was grouped with my wife and we were playing together and doing like a duoing thing. She was playing a Warlock, I was playing the Rogue, and we were doing our thing, and it was good. It was fun. So as far as the gameplay and the feel goes, that's how I feel about that. It was good. It's very good, and they did a really good job with it in Legion, and it carried over into this expansion for sure. And the spells and the visual effects look stunning, but they're not over the top, so they are really good. They're really well done, just like any other polished Blizzard game. Dungeons and getting gear. So dungeons, they feel nice and fresh, as with any expansion when you get in there and you do it in a dungeon for the first time. My wife and I actually did all of this questing until we were given a quest to go do a dungeon. So we didn't really go out of our way to do a dungeon. We didn't queue for dungeons. We just quested. Pretty much like filthy casual like us does. We just go and quest with all the time that we have. Just get things done, and you're gaining rapid, all that kind of fun stuff. Leveling from 110 to 115, you're going to have access to 4 different dungeons. You're going to get Freehold, Shrine of the Storm, Whitcrest Manor, and Tol Dagar, which is at 115. So you do have access to 4, or I guess actually 3 dungeons, and then you get access to another one at 115. Once you hit 120, a whole other set of dungeons opens up, and you get all sorts of other fun things to do. And getting gear works the same as before in Legion. You kill a boss, it may or may not drop loot, and if you want loot, honestly, just quest. I mean, the questing loot in this game, it scales with your gear, so you're always going to get something that's almost always going to be an upgrade, which is really nice. Again, I mean, we're filthy casual, so we're going to be questing anyways, right? Alright, so let's talk about other stuff to do. So, while you're questing, maybe you want to break up the monotony of just questing, and you want to do some other stuff, like expeditions. Expeditions is this really cool thing where you go to these islands with a boat, and you have to try to collect Azerite, and there's like a horde team, and you have to kill stuff, and pick stuff up, and you're gathering Azerite. It's super fun for like the first 5 times, and then after that, it's pretty stale, and you just don't want to run them anymore. I mean, honestly, you're going to be questing. At least that's what we did. Quest, quest, quest. And the expeditions didn't feel that impactful. I mean, they gave you some Azerite power for your neck piece, which is great, but running those over and over, you just didn't feel like it was something that you wanted to do repeatedly. Then there's PvP, of course, tried and true PvP. If you're like me, PvP is just fun whenever, you can just go queue for some PvP. Maybe you just got home from a bad day at work and all you want to do is just beat up on some Horde characters or beat up on some Alliance characters. And so you just want to queue up for some PvP while you're doing some questing. It's perfectly fine. This is really great. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any new battlegrounds pop up, so that kind of sucks. And I guess you could also gather resources, but I mean, you could do that while you're questing too, so why bother? Alright, so let's talk about the end game. So when you hit 120, now what do? Well, rep grind. Yes, there's more rep grinding in this game, just like the other expansions. Yippee frickin' ki-yay. Not so much. So you've got that to do. Yeah, super fun. And then there's, of course, more dungeons unlock when you hit 120. So you get access to, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 more dungeons or something like that. It's crazy. Which is going to give you access to more loot, of course. So if it's something you want to do, you want to spend your time doing dungeons, getting loot, by all means, there's like 10 dungeons or something for the Alliance. I'm sure it's like the same way for the Horde as well. Some of the dungeons that unlock at 120, I do have to say this. Some of the dungeons that unlock at 120 are pretty freaking terrible. I mean, honestly, some of them are really bad. The mechanics are just absolutely garbage. There's a dungeon, I can't remember the name of it, but the last boss, you literally kill ads, heal the boss, kill more ads, heal the boss again, kill more ads, and then heal the boss again. And if you didn't do that the first time, you got to do that again, and then it's over. It's like, that is the laziest game mechanic. I mean, seriously, that is just super, super lazy. I had to throw that in there. Alright, then there's, of course, grinding out the war campaign quests. You gotta do the war campaign quests if you want to unlock stuff like flying and all that other things. Or if you want to progress at all with stuff at the end game, you probably want to get your war campaigns done, which actually are pretty fun and entertaining. Blizzard did a really good job with actually putting up this concept of like having the 2 islands separate, just like, the original vanilla game. You basically had 2 separate continents, and it makes things feel fresh because you haven't been there before. So it's pretty cool. You get your war campaign, it puts you over on the other continent you've never been to, so things look fresh and cool, and the quests are fun. And of course, Blizzard throws in those little meme things, and it's just super fun. It's really great. Then, of course, we have Warfronts. Now, these are pretty awesome for the first time. And I'm not kidding when I say that. For the first time, they are awesome. Then it's just a grind to see how fast you can complete it so you can get a 340 piece of gear. And I'm not even kidding. Like, that's just how it is. After you've completed your Warfront for the first time, you get to see it all in action. It's, like, super cool. And then after that, you can queue for it again. And then you just want to grind through as fast as possible to get that 340 piece of gear so you can run it again. And it's boring. It really is. There's no, like, it's very linear feeling. I don't know. It's just, it's okay. And I also forgot to mention that the Warfront cycle, the cycle in which you can do the Warfronts, is like 3 weeks, which is really kind of weird. You gotta, like, do stuff to unlock it, then you gotta, like, go in there and you do the Warfronts, and then after you own it, then you can go and you can kill bosses. It's just weird. It's a 3-week cycle. It's freaking bizarre. What else is there to do? You can do heroics, you can do mythics, you can do raiding, which I haven't done any of. No pugs, no LFR, so I can't really comment on it. For the overall on this expansion, I give this a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. I feel like The same feeling would be felt if I was to roll a horde tune and level on the other island. If I was to go over there as a horde guy, I think that I would have a lot of fun doing new fresh quests into new zones. So I think that'd be good. Would I recommend this to play? Yeah, sure. If you like World of Warcraft and you've been on the fence about picking up this expansion, I'd say it's definitely worth picking up for just simply for the great quests and the stories. It's really good. But again, if you're a casual like me and my wife, there might be some other great game coming around the corner like Red Dead Redemption or Fallout 76. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This is Rick. I'm out of here. Take it easy, you filthy casuals.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot.